Valentine's Day is near, and what better way to celebrate it than speaking about our favorite confession scenes in anime? Confessing is hard, it takes the living hell out of you, but when you finally go out and do it, you get a waifu or husbando that won't ever leave you. At least that's the case in the anime. So start eating those Valentine's chocolates, because I'm going to go through the best and cutest anime confession scenes of all time.
桜島先輩のことが好きだ!
Starting off our list, we have Sakuta declaring his love for Mai. Remember when we all thought Bunny Girl Senpai was a show about bunny girls? I'm sure your mind was changed when it took a step forward into the slice of life genre, and we finally seem to have a romance anime protagonist who doesn't always blabber and stammer in front of girls. In fact, he does the complete opposite and declares his love in front of the whole school. Most of us barely have the guts to confess our love to the girl we like in front of her, but Sakuta screamed it in front of the entire school, forcing the girl he likes to slap him in the face. But don't worry, folks, this wasn't a rejection. As an anime fan, you should know this is how tsunderes react to a love confession.
バカサクタ。
これが恋だと自覚するのに時間がかかったけど、気がついたら俺は君に恋をしていた。
Coming up next is Teresa and Mitsuyoshi's confession in Tada Never Falls in Love. It seems Tada-kun finally did fall in love, and he made the confession right on Teresa's engagement day. I mean, speak about guts. But luckily for us, this is the ending we deserved. When the engagement started and things seemed to be going the other way, I was genuinely scared that this would turn into another sad and disappointing romance anime. But this is one of those last-minute saves, or last-minute confessions, I'd never forget. And to add icing to the cake, we also got an ending scene where Teresa declares that he would be with Mitsuyoshi forever, and brought a successful conclusion to this wholesome romance story.
多田くん、もう私離れません。私と一緒にいてくれてありがとう。
Attack on Titan may be the last thing on earth you might call cute, but there's one scene we cannot ignore, and that's Mikasa's confession to Eren. Hans is dead. Their friends are surely going to get killed. Eren's mother is right in front of him. How does Mikasa solve the problem? She makes a confession. To be honest, solving the situation was the last thing she had in mind. She knew they were about to die, so she needed to let out the emotions within her. But hey, our main character isn't the one to say yes to a love confession and say bye-bye to revenge. So this confession actually motivates him to keep moving forwards. Mikasa may have not gotten a clear reply, but at least Eren didn't reject her, saying, "Your family."
そんなもん何度でも巻いてやる。これからもずっと俺が何度でも。リカ、
私ユウタのことが好き。
え
In Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions, the confession itself comes as an 8th grade syndrome, but that doesn't make it any less cuter. The first part of the anime was filled with funny comedy and characters getting into comedic involvements. But with Rika's tragic past coming back, the anime changed midway to a lighthearted, emotional adventure. But let's not forget, this is what made Rika and Yuta bond together. At first, Rika was doubtful about her own feelings, but love somehow needs to come out one way or another. This confession first started with the words, "I love you," but soon transformed to the regular lines exchanged in the anime. The Dark Flame Master had to accept the confession in his own way, even while his face was red. For me, this was the perfect conclusion, and I was glad to see my favorite couple getting together.
はい。
10日交換だ。俺の人生半分やるからお前の人生半分くれ。
When you are an alchemist, even the confession should come in the theory of equivalent exchange. Winry may be right to call Edward dumb, but we have to admit this is one of the best confessions in anime. Edward may be the one to punch an overpowered god in the face, but he is still a boy when it comes to love confessions. When he is about to leave his childhood friend for a long trip, he needs to make one thing clear. He loves her. And how does he do that? He brings the law of equivalent exchange. But needless to say, this isn't how relationships work. You don't have to give half, but you need to give everything you've got. This moment was awkward, hilarious, and romantic at the same time. I never thought shonen anime could give one of the best confession scenes of all time. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood being the masterpiece it is, there's no surprise in that.
レムが見ているスバル君のことをスバル君がどれだけ知っているんですか？
どうしてそんなに。
Next up, we have the ray of sunshine in the world of suffering, and that is Rem's confession to her Subara-kun. Oh, Rem, where would rezero be without you? I need to admit, I had doubts about her when she turned into a maniac dog-killing machine, but the most fiercest ones have the cutest moments, don't they? So Subaru had gone through the death and rebirth cycle a couple of times, and like any man, he lost his sanity. This is the moment he forgets about his responsibilities and decides to run away, Shinji Ikari style. But unlike Shinji, we have a girl to the rescue. Rem gives a speech for the whole episode and reminds Subaru about who he is and what his goals should be. Now the confession comes in the end, but the build-up to it was amazing. Rem established herself as one of the best characters of ReZero and topped off best girl charts in a whole new level. Seriously, after all that, is it that hard to see her in season 2?
ここから始めましょう。1から。いいえ、0から。
Coming up next is the emotional bridge confession in Toradora. Throwing a man off a bridge is a good way to bring him closer to death, but our boy Ryuji somehow manages to survive the fall and manages to make a love confession. Actually, it seems more of a marriage proposal than a love confession. Similarly to Chunibyo, Toradora starts off as a comedy, but soon evolved into a drama where teenagers rebel against adults. And how does Ryuji rebel? He asks Taiga to elope with him. This scene might not have been great if not for the tension-filled build-up in the previous episodes. Taiga and Ryuji's relationship was full of misunderstandings and unwanted troubles, but with this scene, everything came to a successful conclusion as the two finally confessed their feelings to each other.
そうしや俺たちだって大人だ。誰にも邪魔させない。死ぬまでの俺の人生を。
Next up is the last episode, Confession in Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. At first, the anime tended to go into the harem route, but in the final episode, it gave us a clear victor, and it was the girl who deserved it. As the mystery of the Seven Witches came to a successful conclusion, Ryuji Yamada's single life seemed to come to a conclusion as well, and that's when Shirashi finally accepted his feelings. Why did she deserve the position? Because out of all the girls, she was the one who actually cared about Yamada since the start. The boy who started as a delinquent came a long way after falling off the stairs, and we are glad he's got a girl to support him from now on. You can be sure Shirashi won't let Yamada go astray again.
やっぱり入れ替わってないわね。もう部室に戻りましょう。
話が進みすぎだ。どういうことだ。まるで永瀬とお前で俺を奪い合うみたいな。
Coming second in our list is one of the cutest confessions in Kokoro Connect, and that's Inaban's confession to Taiichi. In the beginning, Inaban was the fifth wheel in the student cultural society, and Taiichi and Lori had good chemistry, and Yuri and Yoshifumi seemed to be the perfect couple, who were still in their early stages. But when the mysterious aliens start shifting their bodies, everyone's true feelings come out. But this confession didn't happen while Inaban was under influence. It happened when she came into agreement with her own feelings, and let's admit how cool it was for her not to only confess, but to steal a kiss from Taiichi and run away. The embarrassment comes afterwards, but the deed was done, and Taiichi now seems to have a hard time choosing one of the two girls. Our top pick for the best confession scene in anime is none other than Megumi Kato and Tomoya Aki's emotional confession in the Sayakano movie. The original Sayakano series might have been a meh, But the movie took things to a whole new level, and by whole new level, I mean how it took time to develop Megumi's character and show how the boring girlfriend was the best girlfriend Tomoya could have. Megumi has been trying to hide her feelings all this time and appears a plain Jane, but inside all that numbness seems to be an attraction for Tomoya. Luckily, our main character was quick to figure that out, and being the smart one, decided he had liked her the same way. Is this a story about a boring girlfriend? Not anymore. This is the story of the perfect girlfriend, and her love confession needs to top off any list because it was that good.
空気読めてない。
違わないよ、ともやくん。
So, did you like our list? Sound up below in the comments about your favorite confession scene in anime, and don't forget to mention anything I missed. If you enjoyed the list, hit the like button, and stay tuned for more awesome anime moments like this by subscribing to our channel. That's it for today, anime fans, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.